Welcome to Conversations at the Crossroads, the podcast where spirituality meets the beautifully messy experience of being a human. I'm Jenny, tarot reader, key practitioner, and the voice behind Hex and Hair. Each week we gather here at the Crossroads to explore spirituality, personal growth, and the tools that help us navigate an ever-evolving human journey. Some conversations will dive into the mystical, others into the practical, and sometimes we'll sit together and talk about the hard stuff. And along the way, we may explore ideas that challenge us, stories that shift our perspective, or practices that help us walk our path with a little bit more intention. So, wherever you're listening from, take a breath, settle in, and join me on the crossroads. So I have with me today Miss Mackenzie Foster of the Mackenzie Collective. She is a tarot reader, a witch, a fellow daughter of Hecate. She's a mentor. She also hosts witchcraft workshops at the Holistic Treehouse. She is the divine voice behind Divine Gossip, the podcast. So am I leaving anything else? I feel like there's so many things.
There's so much. There's so much. I mean, no, I'm sure we'll cover it if you are. I think that's the main stuff.
And my favorite role, she's also a good friend of mine. So I feel very grateful to have you here. So you have a tarot class curriculum going on right now, right?
Yes, I do. I just started them this year. So at the Holistic Treehouse, where Jenny also teaches, I started teaching tarot. And I've been a tarot reader longer than I've been a witch, longer than I've been anything of those titles. And I was like, it's so personal and close to me, that practice of tarot and reading tarot for myself and others, that I was like, I am finally ready and wanting to teach it. I think that when I give readings, I kind of teach in my readings too, just so they understand, what's going on in the cards. But yeah, I hosted my first Tarot 101, like beginners class in January of 2026 this year, and I've just been hosting like tarot practice circles after that, and it felt like the right time because last year I started creating the Tarot Mastery course, which is a giant 10 module self-paced program, literally diving into every single aspect of tarot you could probably think of, and it's just all of my knowledge over the last 6-7 years of me reading tarot. So I was creating that last year and was like, I can totally bring this in person too. So I kind of have both going on, students in the course and students in person. So yeah, it's been really rewarding and fulfilling because it's so fun for me to teach, and it's magical, it's fun, it's helpful for everyone on all levels, and I believe in it so hard. So it's been so fun. I love it.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of people who, like, their beginning of their spiritual journey in learning to listen to their intuition is like practicing with the cards. They just kind of have that draw.
Yeah, I think so. And like it's such a gateway. Like Megan, the owner of the Holistic Treehouse, which has been on this podcast, she always says that astrology is one of the gateway quote unquote drugs, not really, to spirituality. And I think tarot is the same way too, because tarot also has astrological representation and numerology in it. So, and there's the archetypes, there's the elements. It encapsulates and teaches you so much in one tool, So, yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, especially when you're learning the Major Arcana, which is kind of what we're going to focus on today, it's like, I feel like you learn about life as you're moving through learning those cards. Like, each card is almost a lesson in itself, and it kind of expands how you see things, you
Oh
know?
my God, absolutely. It's such a reflection of our lives. And I always say, like, each card tells a story, especially the Major Arcana. I mean, the Major Arcana represent major energies or major events happening in our life. So, yeah, I think they're perfect for everything and anyone.
Yeah, and that is I'm just pulling up right now. So what I wanted to do was I'm going to read you the little storytelling narrative of the fool's journey, and then I have like a couple questions and like kind of discussion points, and see how this resonates to you. And yeah, just kind of chit chat about it.
I love that. Let's do it. That's
Oh,
so fun.
story time. All right. Do you have your snacks? All right. So imagine the traveler standing on the edge of a cliff. They carry almost nothing, a small bag, a hopeful heart, and a quiet belief that the road ahead will teach them what they need to know. The traveler is the fool. The fool steps into the world with curiosity and certainty, trusting the journey more than the destination. Along the way, the fool meets the magician, who shows them that they already hold the tools they need to shape their reality. Then comes the high priestess, who whispers that not all knowledge is spoken aloud. Some wisdom lives beneath the surface, waiting to be felt rather than explained. Soon, the fool comes across the empress, who teaches abundance creation and the nurturing power of life itself. The path continues to the emperor, who represents structure, leadership, and the responsibility that comes with power. Then appears the Hierophant, a guardian of tradition and shared wisdom, reminding the fool that communities carry knowledge passed down through generations. As the fool continues, they encounter the lovers, a moment of choice and alignment. A lesson that love is not just romance, but an act of choosing what truly matters. Next comes the chariot, where determination and direction carry the fool forward with focused momentum. But strength on the journey does not always look like force. Strength appears next, showing that true power is gentle courage and patient with the wild parts of ourselves. Then the fool meets the hermit, who invites them into the solitude and reflection. Sometimes the road forward requires stepping away from the noise of the world. Soon the wheel turns, and the wheel of fortune reminds the fool that life moves in cycles beyond our control. The fool then meets justice, who holds the scale of truth and consequence. Every action echoes somewhere in the fabric of the world. But sometimes life pauses us completely. The hangman asks the fool to surrender control and see things from a new perspective. Then comes the moment that many fear, death. Not an ending, but a transformation, the shedding of a skin that can no longer contain who we are becoming. From this transformation emerges temperance, the art of balance, healing, and integration. But the journey has shadows too. The devil reveals the chains we place upon ourselves through fear, addiction, and illusion. And then the storm arrives. The tower strikes the lightning, shattering what was built on unstable foundations. In the quiet aftermath, hope appears as the star, a soft light reminding the fool that healing and renewal are possible. Then comes the moon, a landscape of dreams, fears, and illusions where intuition must guide the way. Eventually, the sun rises. The sun brings clarity, joy, the warmth of truth revealed. The fool then hears the call of judgment, a moment of awakening where they recognize who they have become. And finally, the journey arrives at the world, completion, integration, a sense of wholeness after everything the road has taught. But here's the secret of the fool's journey. The traveler is not finished, because the moment we reach the world, we stand once again at the edge of a cliff, ready to step forward as the fool, beginning the journey all over again.
I'm obsessed. Like, how can someone not like that? Like, Are
right?
you kidding me? I feel like it covers every single area and trial and tribulation and beauty in life. I mean, what a all around beautiful, abundant tool to use for self
Yeah.
reflection. And you could tell, like even just in the story, the primary use of tarot is self reflection. It, you know, like
Mhm.
of course you can dabble in like, telling the future and asking yes or no questions or like things like that, but like it's a story of a human being, you know what I mean? Or a
Mhm.
soul or whatever. Like I love that.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many like peaks and valleys, and it's like, through every major journey, like I feel like those archetypes, because like each card is meant to be like an archetype. They show up. Like, how many times in life have you been like, oh, this is a tower moment. I need to strap in.
Literally, literally. And like I love that right in the beginning the fool meets, like you can just see the person or the soul or whatever meeting each archetype. And I've done this technique where like the Empress is pretty much my favorite card and in a tarot deck, and I do this technique where I meditate and like try to step into the world of that card, like the energy of that card. Like I imagine the card in front of me, and then I imagine me stepping into it and like absorbing the energy of the card. So it's even like it's interesting to play around with inviting, like when you need more of an archetype's energy in your life, you can play around with like focusing on that. And yeah, I mean, there's so many different directions you can go in when it comes to healing with tarot, you know?
Yeah. Well, that brings me to my first question is like, what are your top three major arcana cards and why? Are they cards that you like feel aligned with or cards that have challenged you the most?
Oh my God, I love this question. That's so hard. Okay, yeah, the Empress, obviously, yes. The Empress, I feel like for the past couple years, and still am, and probably still will be for the rest of my life, have just been learning about being a woman and what that means to me and stepping into my feminine energy because I do tend to lean more towards like hyper independence and like the masculine of things, which is not like a bad thing, but you need a balance of both. And I've always needed to remind myself of the Empress qualities more often. So I love her. I love the Empress, and it being the number three in tarot. Three is my life path number. I don't know. So that just calls to me as well. Um, I guess the next one is, oh, this is so hard. I really love using astrology with tarot. Like the Chariot is the Cancer card. I'm a Cancer. The Temperance is Sagittarius. I'm a Sagittarius rising. So naturally those call to me, but I think when it comes to what I've been through in life, I'm gonna say the moon. No, I'm gonna say death next. Death is, I love it. I think I find comfortability in like identity changes. I'm always in like a new era. Like I'm always claiming like I'm in this era now and I'm in this era now, and I've been through so many identity, like I don't want to say ego deaths because I don't think it's that, but more just like identity shifts of shedding old skin and then like inviting in new.
Evolution.
Right, like I've just changed so much these past few years, and I will always continue to. We all will, and I think the death card, although like people see it and they get scared, and it's not literal death as you said in your story, like it teaches us that things change and we change internally, externally, all of it, and I've learned to like be comfortable in the uncomfortable, and I think the death card speaks to that. So I love
I
that.
think the death card kind of goes with I have a motto that not every character in your life belongs in every chapter.
Yeah.
And I feel like the death card is like that because like sometimes characters in books have to die for the plot, and not saying that people have to die in real life for the plot, but some people just don't travel along with you or some things just don't continue on with you so that you can get to your plot points.
Yeah, exactly. And sometimes that happens in big and small ways. Like I feel like the biggest quote unquote death I've had is me and my breakup like 2 years ago. That was like I changed my entire being. Like I was birthed a whole new person. So yeah, for me, like I'm very comfortable in endings, and sometimes it is a breakup, or sometimes it is like like in a breakup, someone leaves your life. So sometimes it is someone leaving your life, and or sometimes it's you just drifting apart from someone, or you don't like a job anymore, and it's time to close that chapter and move on. Like it can be as intense or as like it's just time for the next thing, kind of casual too, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I think my biggest like death moment in recent years was the final precipice of when I quit a job that I had been at for so long. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
like 6 years, and it was awful. And I finally got the nerve to quit. And then as soon as I did, and as soon as I wasn't there, like life just started unfolding in a way like, oh, I just removed the blockage. All these things have been waiting for me. And I just needed to remove that blockage. And now I can grow and learn and evolve.
I totally relate to that. When I had my breakup, I was like, oh my God, I always tell people like I lost a lot of weight, like because I started focusing on my health, but I always tell people I lost like 300 pounds because he was the 200 of it. Like, because it's just
Hmm.
like, I feel like sometimes things need to die because they're just in your way of what you're meant to be doing. Like, I totally relate to that. Yeah. Well, absolutely.
Yeah. So the Empress and Death card. Did you say a third card
Yes.
or for sure?
Oh my God, this is so hard. I'm like, I want to say strength. I want to say strength because Leo is so like a core of who I am. My Mars and my Mercury are in Leo, so the way I think and talk and like move throughout life is so Leo, and I there's like this softness with the strength card, although it means like inner strength and courage and patience and kind of just like being your own rock. I don't know, with that lion on the front of the card, with that like Leo energy behind it, it's so just such an important quality that I've had to learn in my life to just be strong for myself and for other people, and not in a, and I say it's in a soft way because it's not in like a, oh, like an ego way, like, oh, I need to just be strong and push through. It's just like, no, I'm stronger than I think I am, you know?
And it's understanding that strength can look different to different people because like in the original Rider-Waite-Smith art, like the lion is licking her hand. She's not putting the lion in a headlock. She's petting it into submission. So it's like you have different strengths that are
Yeah.
going to carry you through different challenges. And sometimes being strong doesn't look like what other people want it to look like for you. You have to choose what it is that you need, what kind of strength you need.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I would say those are my three, but I love all of them. I'm obsessed.
I, yeah, my favorite card in the Major Arcana, I think, is the moon. Like, I feel like whenever I draw it, I end up talking the most because a lot of times I've heard people read it and they're like, oh, the moon, there's dishonesty, there's illusion. And I'm like, wait a minute, let's go deeper than that, right? Because, like,
Yes.
the moon gets its light from the sun. So it's illusion, but what it is, it's reflection on the illusion,
Yes.
right? And like
Yes.
for me, it's like very heavy on like shadow work and, that little lobster leaving its comfortable little pond to walk across between some dogs out to the like across the land to the big scary ocean. There's just so many parts of that card that have like so much weight and meaning of doing what's best for you, doing self-reflection, figuring out what it is that's holding you back. Like it can
Yes.
just be so nuanced also depending on what it comes out with.
I was literally gonna say, like, I was debating on between the strength card and the moon card because the moon is so, I feel the same way about it. It's so, to me, like, your subconscious and your intuition, and it's such a deep card. And it's interesting because I've always felt really connected to it because, well, because I just am, but also like
Well,
the
we're moon girlies with Hecate, so
right, like hello, like Hecate is a triple moon goddess. Like that's her thing, like is the moon. And also cancers are ruled by the moon. And although the moon is Pisces in tarot, which I definitely disagree with, but I understand why they did that. I relate to it so hard. Like it's such an emotional card, and literally the deck I have, the Crystal Visions Tarot by Jennifer Galasso, the very first deck I ever got that I still use every day, literally has Hecate with her two dogs in the Moon card. So I'm like, every time I draw it, I'm like, oh, she's talking to me. Like, duh, I love it.
I love your deck. It's so pretty.
Thank you.
I don't think anytime I've gotten a reading that the moon card came out, because I feel like I remember that our girl's on there.
I think I would remember too, but
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, nowadays I think I talk to Hecate in meditation more than cards and like spell work too, you know? So,
Hmm. So, my next question, if your life had a theme card right now, what would it be?
oh my God, right now? Oh, these questions are so fun. Okay. Let's see. I have like a list of them in front of me. Not that I don't obviously know them, but I just like to see it visually. That's why I'm looking over here. I think I want to say something like the strength card or the star because I'm really trying to focus on positivity right now. I have this thing where I like when life is really good, I self-sabotage it by finding like little things wrong and like just being in a bad mood because I can be and instead of just being normal and chill, I just like start acting like a bitch or something because of who knows why. And yeah, I always have to do work on like finding hope and faith and rejuvenating because of my spirituality, like connecting to my spirituality, like the star teaches us. But the strength, I'm like, I always find my inner strength. Like, this is so dramatic, but like this morning, I just didn't want to go to work. That's the thing with having your own business and stuff and having like freelance marketing and stuff with my mom and I do a bunch of things, but my schedule is very flexible. So if I wanted to cancel my whole day, I totally could, but then I would be like not getting closer to my goals and what I want to do in life. And I would just be
Mhm.
succumbing to like the bad mood I was in this morning. So I feel like I constantly have to connect to my inner strength of just like, let's not be a little bit of a baby right now. Let's be a woman and do your thing that you know you actually want to do and you're just being a little lazy right now. So, yeah, I think those two. But I think if I had to choose one, the star. I think the star.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love a combo.
Yeah.
I
No
definitely love a
doubt.
combo.
What about you? What's going on with you?
Oh my gosh.
I know, right?
I think maybe I'd say the chariot, because I feel like I just have a lot of like forward momentum right now. But it's not in a scary way. Like I like in the card that he's got like the structure around him kind of like symbolizes like some structure on the go. So it's like not so chaotic, but it is like a very forward momentum. I've got a lot of really exciting things that like we just announced this week
Yes. Yeah.
coming up. So um I would probably just yeah, I'd say the chariot
I know. I was
moment.
probably gonna. I was picking the chariot in my head too. I wanted to, but then I was like, oh, the stars more. I can totally see that in you. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
It's interesting that the chariot is a cancer card because like cancer is so emotional and intuitive. But I mean, I feel like the energy you just described with the chariot. I feel like I'm in that like movement and energy my whole life, like all the time. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I get it. What's your opinion on that? Like, do you think the zodiac signs match up with the major arcana like accurately in a way?
Yeah, I mean, I know that so it's like part of me is like I don't want to question Pamela Coleman Smith, right? Like
Right.
she
She's her.
she's so great which she deserves a whole episode to herself. But I know that she was a member of the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn, which was like this esoteric society that did a lot with astrology. So I know that that was kind of an inspiration for her even creating them.
Yeah,
Um, but I do think that they match up like with the moon and Pisces, like because the moon is so much of us in our inner world. Like when we look at our astrology, the moon that like is how we process things emotionally inside. So I feel like that really does kind of relate to Pisces.
I agree.
With Cancer, maybe it's just he has a shell and he's moving along, and
That's true.
um, it might be in a different way because like crabs go one way or the other, they don't really go forward. But so it's like maybe it's moving in a different way that you might expect, but you're
Yeah,
protected as you're going.
I agree.
Um,
Yeah, yeah.
so some of them it makes me stop and think, but I mean also I'm a Virgo and my card's the Hermit, and I think that that's perfect.
Oh my God, it's literally the most Virgo energy ever in the world. Like,
Hmm. Yeah,
so
I
good.
want to get the Hermit, like the OG Pamela Coleman Smith Hermit, like tattooed on me. Not like the whole card, but just him with his lantern and his cane. Like,
Oh my God, you so should. It's such a good
hmm.
card for Virgo. Like,
Hmm.
God,
I love his energy.
me too. I can't wait to have my own place that I can just put giant tarot cards everywhere. Like,
Yeah.
so cool.
I think if I had to pick three to hang like in my living room, it would probably be the Fool, the Magician, and like the Star, right? For that energy in the living room to like remember to be spontaneous. You've got the tools you need. Follow
Hmm.
your North Star, have hope. Like, I think that that would be,
Yeah, what else do you need?
I would love that. I've thought about that for a while actually. So,
You should.
like, I want to get like big, giant, blown up ones. Let's see. So, the tower gets a scary reputation. Have you experienced a tower moment in your life where something collapsed, but it ultimately led to growth?
Yeah, I have for sure. I feel like I can see it in more little ways in my life. I've had a very like if I'm being really honest, I've had a very privileged life that I'm very blessed to live. So I haven't experienced a ton of destruction, but I mean, I have, of course, everyone has. But it may just be in like small ways. Like I think of my first ever job that I had when I don't know why I'm thinking of this right now, but my first ever job I had when I was 15. Those two jobs, I was like a hostess at one restaurant, and then that went to I loved it. Like I loved like having a little restaurant job. It was so fun. And then all of a sudden like one day I just experienced all this drama in the restaurant, and like the restaurant was going down, and like I was treated so poorly. I was crying every day, like, and that all happened within a week. Like, it was just that job opportunity tumbled down so fast. Yeah, that. And then I went to another restaurant, and then the same thing happened so fast. And it's almost like I have tower moments so quick and so fast, even in the little ways, because my guides are in the universe is like, no, you're not meant to be doing this. Like, like trust us. You're not meant to be in a restaurant, girl. Like, no. And I'm such a determined, like, stubborn person that I love. If I like something, I'm gonna do it, and if I don't like something, I'm not gonna do it. And when I like something, like I like those restaurant jobs, a tower moment needs to happen where like it does need to crumble, so I wake the fuck up and leave, And like the same thing has happened in every single relationship I've ever had. Like I've been in a few long-term relationships and they kind of crumble very fast in front of me, and I'm just like, what the fuck? And then after reflection, I realized that, like the Tower card teaches us, in those situations and in those relationships that have crumbled down, it was never built on a solid foundation in the first place, whether I saw that crumbling foundation, cracking foundation at first or not. But I also think about like my dad and I, like to get personal real quick, my dad and I have had a pretty rough relationship growing up, and he I mean, that was never built on a solid foundation in the first place. That had to crumble down so we could rebuild and be where we're at today, which is super close, and we have a great
Oh, I
relationship.
love that.
Thank you. Yeah, we do. And yeah, so I think that's probably the biggest one is my dad. I think that I have seen our relationship like absolutely crumble to nothing in the most like painful, scary way. And we rebuild over time to a very strong, solid relationship where I can depend on him and trust him and feel protected by him and, all the dad things. So, yeah, I think of that. But it's also just in like small ways. Like, I have been trying to I've been trying to record for YouTube for so fucking long, and every camera I get, it either shatters and breaks unexpectedly. I'm not even kidding. Like it literally, like one of my expensive ass Canon cameras took a tumble down the stairs as I was taking it to record. So
Oh, like for your ghost hunting stuff, right?
for my ghost hunting stuff and for like the video version of my podcast. So so I can film like guest episodes like this because I just use my laptop camera. But like when it comes to solo episodes that I want to record, I built a whole studio. But like every time I go to try to record, it just literally crumbles and falls, whether it's literally the camera or my plan or something. And I know based on past experiences of other tower moments that that's my sign to take a step back and wait until I have a more solid foundation of everything else in the first place. Then I can build on top of that and add YouTube when I want.
Hmm.
So like there's another example. So the tower gets a bad rep, yeah, but it's like I feel like, and maybe I'm wrong, and maybe there is exceptions to this, but most of the time, something's crumbling that you already knew was probably going to crumble one day, and you get to rebuild, and it's going to be even better. And that's life, like we go through pain and then we heal, and yeah. So,
Well, I think that it says a lot that the card that comes after the tower is the star. So
right.
it's like you go through the tower moment where like I feel like it's a very like rug pulled out from under you moment. Like,
Yeah.
whoa, okay, everything is gone, nothing to go back to. Like, it is gone. There is no if ands or buts about it. And then the star comes, and we've got like that very Aquarius vibe, that air, that like it's the winds of change
Yeah.
kind of vibe, and following your true north and having that hope of whatever's new to come. So I personally love when I see a tower. I love a tower moment. I have learned to like recognize them in my life and be like,
Mm.
oh,
Yep.
this is a tower moment. Actually,
Yeah.
I had a reading at Fayfest last year, and she pulled the tower, and I was like, well, usually that'd be exciting, but like, there's nothing bad. Like, there's nothing about my life that I would like to see change. Like, there's nothing. I don't understand where that's coming from, and it eventually made sense, and I was like, oh, okay, well. But it wasn't like a dramatic, painful thing. But there was like some things that I was doing, like um places I was devoting a lot of energy and time that were gonna like no longer be where my time and energy needed to be, and not in a bad like um not like a falling out or a bad way. Like I still very much love and appreciate the place that I was spending my time and energy.
Yeah.
And it was integral, but I pivoted, and it was not long after that that I went through to the Breakthrough Your Bullshit retreat at the Holistic Treehouse. I met you. I met Megan and MJ and Jen, and like, Amy was there that day. When I look back at that picture, I'm like, look at all those people
I know,
in
right?
that picture that are like now huge parts of my life that were all strangers that day.
Yeah.
So, it's not always like a bad thing.
No, sometimes it's just literally a natural shift that you maybe even wanted to make. And then,
Hmm.
no, that's such a good point, actually. Two things. I think that, like, the examples I give, the tower moment can be like a long thing that happens up for a long time. And then it can be like a short pulled out from under the rug thing. And then also, yeah, I mean, oh my God, that makes total sense to me, what you just said.
Yeah.
I thank you for sharing that actually, because I needed to hear that, because I think when people, what, like, for example, we're both in places in our life where we've built where we're at and like we're happy where we're at, and you see the tower card come out and you're like, wait, like I don't want anything to change. And I think that's, I get a little scared of the tower card right now in my life, because I'm like, wait, I don't want anything to change. But
Yeah.
sometimes it's just like,
Everything feels good. What do you mean?
yeah,
Yeah.
it's like, wait, wait, I don't want things to crumble down, but it's not always so dramatic. Yeah.
hmm Yeah. It doesn't have to be. And that brings me to another one of my questions actually was going to be, how do you compare the death card as an ending to the tower card as an ending?
That's such a good question. Yeah, because they sound so similar, right? I think the death card. Do you know the zodiac sign for the tower?
So it's, yeah. So some cards don't necessarily have a sign, but it's a planet. So it's
Yeah.
represented by Mars, which it's a lot of action energy, right? Like
Yeah.
Mars
Intensity too.
is, yeah, the Mars feels very emperor vibes to me too, but
Yes.
that like putting in action to it's time.
Yep.
So I feel like with death, because it doesn't look like a scary card, like it's somebody who's like on a horse on a journey with like a flag, like you know that I'm coming for you eventually, kind
Yeah.
of thing. Like you know that things have to cycle. I look almost like at death as when it's been a long time coming and you're like, okay, I need to walk away from this relationship, I need to walk away from this situation, or like, things that are like need to come to a natural ending. Tower feels like, to me, is like there's nothing to go back to and you don't have a choice. Like death, I feel like there's a little bit more choice on like
Yeah.
where to go from there or how to get there, because it comes after your perspective shift of the hangman, whereas like the tower is just kind of like you have no choice in the matter, it's gonna happen, and buckle up.
Yeah.
Tuck and roll out of the window of the tower as it comes down. Like,
Exactly. I think you put that beautifully, especially because, and yeah, what I was gonna say is the hermit is before death. So it's like you've gained all this knowledge, and like it's time to say goodbye to something and then like transition into something else. Because I think of death as Scorpio, which Scorpio is a rebirth. So it's like I do think of death as, it doesn't normally mean a physical death moments. It's like an identity rebirth. Like I'm a whole new person with new ways of living and ways of being and new habits, and I even look different sometimes, you know? So it's like parts of me dying to be reborn. And I think the tower is alluding more to like quick, sudden, out of your control kind of thing.
like, so, like, for instance, for when I left Olive Garden, I worked at Olive Garden. It was my first, not sponsored. It was my first like job in high school, and I worked it through hair school, and I stayed there until I had enough clients and doing hair that I could afford to leave. And so like leaving that job, I like put in my 2 weeks notice. I had worked there for like 4 years. So they had a big, like a cake and a congratulations go off on, your career. And it was that kind of a vibe when I left there. And I feel like that was like a death moment where it was like, there was
Closing
choice
of
and
the
there was
chapter.
thought put into it.
Hmm.
And then, but quitting my last job was a tower moment because it just like, it was pressure that built and built and built. I was so unhappy there to begin with. I knew I shouldn't be there. The foundations were not sturdy, and I like held on tight. I was like white knuckling it, and I was like, no, like it's going to get better, or I'll wait for something really bad to happen. And then like suddenly one day it just explosion, like time to
Yeah.
go, have to go. Didn't have a plan. This was the first time I ever quit a job without a plan. And so that felt like a tower
Yeah,
to me.
that's That's perfect examples and explanation. The death card is like the closing of a chapter to start anew that you know is coming. It's definitely the vibe. And then the tower is like sudden upheaval, sudden change. Yeah, so I guess the stuff with my dad would be more of a death because it's like a kind of a closing of a cycle too. So maybe even the world. And yeah, the tower moments are my old jobs too. Yeah.
What about two cards that come up kind of side by side or like get compared a lot are the High Priestess and the Hierophant. Like what would you how would you look at a High Priestess moment and a Hierophant moment?
I think the Hierophant is like the card I pull the absolute least. So I've had to really like learn that one. Okay, so the High Priestess and the Hierophant are like masculine and feminine versions of each other, first of all. Like the High Priestess is the feminine part to a priest, you know, like in old religion and like modern day too. Like those are the two archetypes there. So I mean, first of all, I look at like the feminine and the masculine qualities to them. Like the feminine qualities are the intuition, the psychic connection, the like mystery almost. Yeah, like it's just like such a witchy card, and I do recommend people listening like to do research on high priestesses in history and right now, like I mean, because people, you can get initiated as a high priestess right now, you know, so that's a like established archetype on earth. And the Hierophant is more of those masculine qualities of like tradition, legacy, almost religion, kind of like it's still spiritual wisdom, of course, but it's more like conformity, I think of it as. So yeah, I think, I mean, personally, I pull the High Priestess a lot more because I embody that archetype a lot more. I'm literally like, I'm not as like a initiated, established High Priestess, but I mean, I am a witch, I am a psychic, so it's like, hello. But
Well, yeah, and I think that I think we've talked about this before, me and Megan, that like even though it's not something that it's like not in our bio, right? But like as people who our goal is to help usher people into their spirituality and be a mentor and, you
yeah,
know, try to help people grow and like stand at that pillar, those pillars with the veil beyond and be like, come on, you know, we're here for you if you want to take that journey. So like, even though we don't like in our bio, you know, high priestess of the night, but we do kind of consider ourselves that like priestess energy of just harnessing that divine spirit, that feminine energy, and wanting to help nurture people through their journey. Does that make sense?
absolutely, it makes sense. I totally agree, and especially because, like, you point out a good thing there too of mentorship. I think both cards have an aspect of like a guide or a mentor or a teacher. Every time the Hierophant does come out for me, and I think this is probably why it doesn't come out much, is because I think early on in my tarot journey and tarot reading started, I kind of locked in my own little meanings and quirks with my own cards, as a tarot reader does. And the Hierophant to me always meant that like a new guide is with me, or like one guide is with me right now, like this message I'm reading on and the cards are coming out with is from them. So I always put the Hierophant when it comes out like to the side to know that I'm talking to one being. I don't know if that makes sense, but like, and
Yeah.
that's why it probably doesn't come out much, is because when I do tarot readings for myself and other people, I invite all the beings in to just talk and channel out. So I think that's, yeah, probably why it doesn't come out a lot. But that's another way I think of the Hierophant too, is like a guide is with me, if that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. That's so interesting. And it's so interesting how we all have kind of like different takes on it. Cause when I pull out the Hierophant, it, I get like such a mixed emotion because he is like very much tradition. It's the male energy, but also like he's got the keys at his feet. And it's like, is he choosing to give the information to these people or not? is kind of what it feels like. So it almost feels like he can be a little gatekeepy, or he can be a little like, no, I know the best and you need to stick to tradition. It's just my astrology. When you look at my chart, I'm here to be a disruptor. So
Girl,
like, I'm like, no tradition, no,
me too. Like that makes us
like
sick. Like,
anarchy, like,
yeah,
yeah,
the tradition makes us sick. So yeah, I
yeah.
get the same exact feeling. Yeah.
But I need to give the Hierophant energy a little bit more. Maybe that's a shadow that I need to look at to be like, why does this give me the ick? Why does this bother me? Which major arcana card do you think shows up the most during a spiritual awakening?
Oh, the Hermit immediately. The Hermit, 100%. Oh my God. Um, the Hermit is one of the cards I pulled a lot in the beginning of my spiritual awakening, especially because, well, when we talk about the Hermit, it's hermit mode, right? It's like introspection, it's going within, it's even literally like staying indoors more, isolating. It can mean being alone, getting to know yourself really, really well, especially like getting closer to your higher self or your soul, whatever you call it, your truest self. And it's just about learning a lot of information. I think of Virgo, you guys are so intelligent and smart. You guys have so much information in your brain, and I admire that so much. Yeah, so with all that being said, in the beginning of my spiritual awakening, when I was pulling the Hermit, it was literally because when I started to get into spirituality, it was COVID, I was quarantining, I was alone, I was indoors, I was like, everyone was a hermit. Like, I was in hermit mode, so I got to know that card real well. And yeah, I think that, and especially when I've read for people obviously who are more further along in their journey, is me being an example of this, where the Hermit comes out and it's a reminder to go within again and go back to yourself and learn more and absorb more information. So yeah, there's that.
Yeah. I definitely think, yeah. And we just talked about the high priestess, but I think the high priestess
Yep.
comes up, and I think that, I
I
mean,
even
even
thought
the
the Tower.
magician,
Yeah.
huh?
Oh, true, true. The Magician. Yeah, I was just saying
When,
the Tower too.
yeah, the tower of like deconstructing all, especially if you were raised with these certain beliefs, and now you're like, oh, I might not believe any of that,
Yeah.
and learning to deconstruct. But I think the magician is great because it's like, the magician has the infinity symbol above his head, and like, which is like his connection to divine source. And he kind of has that like as above, so below hand motion. And he's like saying, hey, you actually have all the tools. You have everything you need to get what you want and to shape your
Yeah.
journey. So I think that one's a pretty fun one to be
Yeah.
like a Kickstarter. If someone is just starting their tarot journey, which major arcana card do you think is the most important to understand?
Ooh, that's interesting. I mean, the Fool.
Yeah,
Like,
I
because
would agree.
like even thinking about where that person might be in their life. I mean, they're starting a new journey of learning tarot. So the Fool, I mean, you're going to relate to the Fool the most, I think. I mean, at the end of the day, we're all just fools figuring it out on the journey. So I think that, because new beginnings, not feeling like you're feeling like a little bit of a fool, like you don't really know what you're doing, but you're gonna fucking do it anyway. You're gonna go for it anyway.
Hmm.
So
Like,
yeah, I think the Fool for sure.
I don't know how, but I'm gonna do it.
Yeah,
you
go for
know?
it, man. We're starting it.
Yeah.
We're starting the journey. Yeah, I love that question. That's cool.
What do you think is the most misunderstood major arcana card?
I mean, death for sure. Death. But I think judgment weirdly too. I don't know why. Maybe that's just me. I don't know, because people think of it as judging, but I think of it more as like purpose, like judgment day. Like, I don't know why actually. I think that like when the judgment card comes out for me, it's always like, oh, I need to remember like why I'm here, and like I'm being like, cuz you think of Judgment Day, like God comes down to judge everyone, which ew, but like
Yeah.
yeah, ew, but like also kind of a little
Ooh.
story there. Yeah, like what are you gonna do? Like it's up to you. You're gonna call like it's a reckoning, it's an awakening. Are you gonna follow it or not? You know, kind of that thing.
Yeah, and I sometimes I have a hard time like between judgment and justice, but I feel
Yeah.
like judgment is like self-assessment and justice is like assessment of the things around you, maybe.
Yeah, I get that. I agree with that. I think that's right. I think of justice as like, and there's so many different ways you can go with that. Like justice is also like legal things, like a legal
Hmm.
situation going your way maybe, or it can also represent like cause and effect. I think of the Libra zodiac sign, like the scales, so it's very like harmony, balance to me. It can go a lot of different ways actually. It depends on what it comes out with and what I'm asking, but yeah, judgment's an interesting one because people also I've seen readers like pull judgment and they're like, "Oh, we need to watch how we're judging people," or like they take it like literal. Like they're like, "Oh, are you like what are we judging here? Are you judging yourself? Are you like you need to use your judgment more, you know, like stuff like that."
Yeah. Hmm.
I
It's definitely
know.
one to ponder.
It
I
is.
think I find the devil card to be one of the more misunderstood ones too, because like people see it and they're like, ah, the devil. And it's like, wait a minute. Wait just a second. Like, because it's to me the theme of that one, there's a man and a woman, and some would say that they're the people from the lover's card. They have chains around their neck. But, if you look closely, the chains around their neck aren't like tight. They're like easily slippable. So that's why I feel like it's the most understood because it's like it's not the devil that like somebody's coming to get you, the devil's coming to get you or anything. It's like the things that you think are holding you back could be reassessed, and you could be able to end them if you want to. You can slip those chains if you want to. They don't have to hold you back.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's kind of how that I think the devil for me is probably one of the more misunderstood ones that when I'm reading, I see people's face go, they're like, "Oh
Yeah.
God."
Yes, me too. Oh my God. People are like, what the fuck? Why is there a devil card? I think that's why also like tarot is such a deep and intricate tool that you have to be willing to learn and open your mind, which I think is like literally the number one quality you can have in life is having an open mind. Like it's my favorite thing ever. And yeah, I mean, you could look at the devil and get scared, but you could also look deeper at the picture, break it down like you did, and look deeper at the meaning and get metaphoric with it and just ponder about it, and you won't actually be that scared. Yeah, because I think of the devil as bad habits, like addiction or materialism or like stuff like that that can be we're chaining ourselves to, you know. So
Even like self-limiting beliefs. I mean, I've had a situation where it came up, and through the conversation we realized that there's eating disorder situation, trigger warning, sorry, I should have said, but it can come up in a lot of ways of things that are holding us back that we have agency in,
yep,
you know.
exactly. Exactly. Your shadow self, man.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. I have some closing reflection prompts for listeners. So take a moment and ask yourself, what part of the fool's journey am I walking right now? Is it a moment of growth like the Empress, a moment of reflection like the Hermit, or transformation like Death? What part of myself is asking to evolve right now? The Fool's Journey reminds us that growth is a cycle. So, what part of your life feels ready for expansion and healing and release? And if you've imagined the next step in your journey as a tarot card, which one might it be and why? So, in closing, tarot isn't about predicting the future. It's about having a mirror for understanding where we've been, where we are, and the wisdom we're gathering along the way. So, if any part of this conversation resonated with you, take a second and journal with it and which one of these archetypes really resonated with you. Or if there's a few of them that resonated with you that you feel like you're experiencing on your journey. So, Mackenzie, tell them where they can find you.
Awesome. Okay. Well, thank you for having me, Jenny. This was very fun. I love talking about this stuff. You can find me at the mackenziecollective.com. That's MACKENZIE. I do a lot. You can listen to my podcasts if you would like, on any major audio platform and on my YouTube channel. It's Divine Gossip. I do that. If you're local,
You may see a familiar face on that one.
yes, Jenny was on it, is on it. Um, you may, if you are local to Virginia, Hampton Roads, I do a lot of events teaching tarot and witchcraft, like Jenny mentioned in the intro. So all those events are always up on my website. You can subscribe to my newsletter. I send out a newsletter every Sunday. All of my socials, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Pinterest, Facebook, all those are all the Mackenzie Collective.
Got it going on.
It's a lot, girl. What else do I do? I mean, obviously I have private sessions. I have my courses. If you're just going through a spiritual awakening, I have a spiritual awakening 101 course, and then obviously my tarot course. I'm making a witchcraft course this year too. So you can explore all of it on my websites. I'm on social media every single day, so you can also follow up with me there. But that covers pretty much all of it, I think.
Awesome. Thank you so much for coming on my podcast and also for being such an inspiration for me, because when I was even thinking about doing this, you were such a huge cheerleader. And so I really appreciate you and just the value that you bring energetically into my sphere. And it's a wonderful thing. And I'm so grateful for you.
You see me literally tearing up. I'm such a baby. Thank you. My love language is words of affirmation, so I appreciate that.
I got you. And as per usual, if you'd like to find me, I am at Hex and Hair on TikTok and Instagram, and now Hex and Hair on Facebook as well. And then you can go to my website, www.hexandhair.com. I hope that you guys all have a wonderful day. Thank you for being here. Be kind to yourself. Be gentle with yourself. And I will see you again on the crossroads. Bye.